You are God, and this is the greatest realization you will ever have in life. Your entire life you've been told you're just human, just a body, a personality, a mind with a name slapped on it, and you believed it because everyone else believed it too. But what if the truth is the exact opposite? What if the part of you that feels small, broken, or not enough is the illusion? And what if the part of you that watches all of that, silently, patiently, is God? This isn't just a beautiful idea. It's the one truth that changes everything when you finally see it. You won't need to manifest harder, meditate longer, or chase another guru. The answers are already inside you, hidden in plain sight. The reason life feels heavy isn't because you're far from God. It's because you've forgotten that you are that. This video isn't about adding more beliefs to your shelf. It's about destroying the one belief that's been holding you back, the belief that you're separate from the divine. The second that illusion breaks, everything shifts, and once you remember who you really are, you'll never live the same way again. 1. The illusion of separation. He grew up thinking God was far away, some distant figure judging from the clouds. The idea that he was just a small piece, separate from everything else, was never questioned. But one day, sitting quietly in his backyard, watching the wind move through the trees, he felt something strange, a kind of remembrance, not of the past, but of a truth buried under noise, that he was never truly apart from anything at all. The illusion plays dirty. It uses culture, fear, and even religion to convince people they're broken or lost. But think about it. When you're in deep silence, like during a walk in nature or a quiet moment before sleep, don't you feel whole? That wholeness isn't wishful thinking. It's awareness peeking through the cracks of the illusion. And it's always been there. Let's make it simple. If you believe you're separate from life, you'll live in lack. That belief shows up in relationships, money, even your health. You'll feel like you're always chasing, never enough, never safe. But when you start seeing through the illusion, even just a little, life stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling like something you're part of, like a conversation, not a competition. One practice that helps? Talk to life as if it's listening. Seriously, next time you wake up, say thank you out loud. Not to anyone specific, just to existence. It rewires the mind. Because the more you treat the universe like an extension of yourself, the faster you remember you were never separate from it. And that quiet remembrance opens a door to something deeper. 2. You are not the mind. You are the awareness. He spent years trying to fix himself, changing habits, improving routines, mastering morning rituals. But no matter what he did, the old thoughts always came back. The mind kept running the same loops, like an app that just wouldn't quit. One day, instead of fighting the thoughts, he paused and noticed something. He was watching them. That moment shifted everything. Thoughts can scream, cry, seduce, and even pretend to be you. But they're not you. They're like weather patterns in the sky, sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy. Awareness, on the other hand, never changes. It's that quiet space that sees the thoughts without becoming them. When you realize that, you stop drowning in every mental wave and start surfing them instead. Let's say you get angry in traffic. The mind jumps in, narrates the injustice, blames the other driver, and floods you with emotion. But what if you just noticed all of that instead of reacting? That noticing, that space, is awareness. It doesn't suppress emotion. It simply refuses to get hijacked. It watches without judgment. And in that watching, the illusion loses power. Try this. Sit down for 5 minutes, close your eyes, and watch whatever comes up in your mind like it's a movie. Don't fight it. Don't change it. Just observe. You'll notice something wild. You're not the actor. You're the screen it's all playing on. And once you see that, it becomes impossible to forget. That quiet divinity watching everything, that's who you really are. 3. The divine witness within. He always pictured God as a being somewhere far away, outside of time and space. But that image never really brought peace, just more questions. It wasn't until he started observing his thoughts in silence that something clicked. There was a presence watching, not judging, just calmly witnessing everything, and it wasn't above him. It was within. Always had been. This witness doesn't have a voice. It doesn't argue, plan, or panic. It's not impressed by achievements or shaken by failure. It's just there, steady, like the sky behind every storm. That's why people feel peace during deep meditation or when they're fully in the moment. It's not that life gets easier, it's that they touch their own divinity without realizing it. Even in chaos, the witness stays the same. You could be crying, laughing, raging, but awareness doesn't flinch. It's the eternal part of you, not caught up in the illusion. Want a shortcut to connect with it? Just pause before reacting. That pause is sacred. It breaks the spell and reminds you that you're not the story. You're the one watching the story unfold. People go looking for signs of God everywhere, in churches, books, sky patterns. But the biggest clue is this: something in you is always aware. It never sleeps, it never turns off. That's not just consciousness, that's your direct connection to divinity itself. And when you start remembering this, the way you live, speak, and move begins to shift in subtle but powerful ways. 4. How the mind keeps you in the illusion. The mind's job is to protect, but it's not great at knowing when to stop. It creates fear-based stories to keep you in line, even if those stories aren't true. You're not good enough. That won't work. People will leave you. Sound familiar? These thoughts aren't facts. They're old programs, and they run automatically until awareness steps in and interrupts the cycle. He used to believe every thought his mind threw at him. One small mistake, and the mental narrative would spiral. See? You're failing again. But once he began observing, rather than reacting, the grip started to loosen. That's the power of awareness. It doesn't need to fight the mind. It just sees it clearly, and the moment something is seen clearly, it starts to lose control. Want to test this? Next time you're anxious or stuck in overthinking, write down the exact thought that's repeating. Look at it on paper. Ask yourself, who's believing this? And who's watching the one who's believing it? That second question opens a door the mind can't close. You start to feel the illusion cracking, not because you figured it out, but because you remembered something deeper. The mind can make a prison out of anything: your job, your body, your past. But that prison only works if you believe the walls are real. And once you spot the pattern, the fear, the judgment, the control, you realize those walls were made of thought, not truth. And right behind those thoughts, a still, unshakable awareness that was never fooled to begin with. 5. Reclaiming your divine power. He thought self-development was about becoming better, more productive, more disciplined, more successful. But all that effort still felt like chasing something just out of reach. It wasn't until he let go of trying to become someone and started remembering who he already was that things shifted. His real power didn't come from improvement. It came from remembrance. Divinity isn't earned, it's revealed. The more layers you drop, the more your real self shines through. That's the joke. We're not here to add more. We're here to strip away what's false. False identities, old beliefs, societal labels, they all cloud the truth. Your power isn't in pretending to be perfect. It's in owning your awareness, even when things are messy. Practical example: stop identifying with your role. You're not just a parent, a manager, a husband, a coach. Those are costumes. Take 10 minutes each day to sit in silence and feel what remains when all those labels drop. What you'll find isn't emptiness. It's presence. It's the you that existed before the world told you who to be. You won't find divine power in effort alone. It's not a reward for doing things right. It's what shows up when you stop chasing and start remembering, when you stop needing permission to feel whole. And the more you lean into that awareness, the more the illusion starts to look like exactly what it is. Just a game the mind's been playing all along. 6. The practice of detachment and observation. He used to think detachment meant not caring, like shutting down emotions or pretending things didn't matter. But detachment isn't cold, it's clear. It's the ability to observe without getting swallowed by the story. It's stepping back from the noise of the mind and sitting in the seat of awareness, where everything can be seen but nothing owns you. This practice isn't about becoming passive. It's about becoming present. When you observe instead of react, you regain your inner authority. Let's say someone criticizes you. Instead of instantly defending yourself, just pause. Notice what rises inside, the tension, the thoughts, the emotional charge. And then realize you're the one watching all of that, not the one being defined by it. A simple exercise. When something triggers you, say quietly to yourself, "This is just the mind doing what it does." Then breathe. That phrase creates a space. In that space, awareness gets a chance to lead instead of the ego. You don't have to suppress emotions. Just stop letting them drive the bus. Observation turns emotional chaos into spiritual clarity. The more you practice this, the more life slows down in the best way. You stop chasing peace and start choosing it. You stop fighting thoughts and start watching them float by like clouds. And the more you watch, the more you remember. You were never the storm. You were always the sky behind it. 7. The end of seeking, the beginning of being. He read all the books, watched the gurus, chased every spiritual hack promising bliss. But the more he searched, the more distant peace felt. Until one morning, sitting on his couch with no agenda, no effort, just silence, it hit him. The thing he'd been looking for had always been with him. Not in the next insight, but in the quiet awareness that never left. Seeking keeps the illusion alive. It whispers, "You're almost there. Just one more course, one more answer, one more breakthrough." But awareness doesn't live in the future. It's not something you find. It's what you are when the seeking stops. Like a dog chasing its tail, the moment it pauses, it realizes the tail was always there. Practical idea. For one day, stop trying to fix yourself. Don't journal, don't meditate, don't analyze, just be. Make a cup of coffee, look out the window, breathe. Let that be enough. Let yourself feel what it's like to live without the pressure to evolve. You'll be surprised. What shows up isn't laziness. It's a quiet kind of divinity you forgot was even possible. This doesn't mean growth is bad. It just means truth doesn't need to be hunted. It reveals itself when you stop pretending you're lost. And in that stillness, something amazing happens. You don't become someone new. You remember someone ancient, someone free, someone who was never seeking to begin with. 8. Living as God in human form. He used to think that living like God meant being flawless, never angry, always peaceful, floating through life like a monk in slow motion. But that's another illusion. Living as God in human form doesn't mean you stop being human. It means you stop believing the human story is all there is. It's about bringing awareness into every moment, no matter how ordinary. Real divinity is simple. It's how you respond when someone cuts you off in traffic. It's how you treat the barista, how you speak to your kids when you're tired. It's not about quoting spiritual texts, it's about presence. When awareness leads the way, you don't need to force goodness, you become it. Not to impress anyone, but because that's your natural state when you're not lost in illusion. Try this. Before you say or do anything, pause and ask, is this coming from awareness or habit? That one question can change how you walk, talk, and make choices. It's not about becoming holy, it's about remembering you already are. Even in mess, even in doubt, especially in doubt, that's where the old self dies and the real self breathes. You won't always get it perfect, and that's not the point. Living as God isn't a performance. It's a practice of remembrance. The more you live from that space, the less you need to prove anything. You start to be the thing you were looking for, and in that presence, something new starts to awaken. If you want to elevate your vibrations and manifest with more ease, I have prepared something special for you. Click the link in the first pinned comment and join us in the journey of awakening your inner mage.